Hello everyone and welcome to the Legacy of Music. This key was given to me by the developer of the Legacy of Music, and I gotta say, based on the screenshots and videos, this is much different than what I expected. The idea behind the game is simple enough. You're supposed to make your way up the tower while an encroaching floor of lava slowly rises up to reach you. You know, like your normal 3D platforming fare. But the movement mechanics are quite a bit different than I ever could have imagined, and I'll try my best to explain them. So, the jumping, from what little I've played, seems to center around this dash move, where you zip through the air, like that. And you hold down the left stick to do this. There's a meter in the bottom left that shows how much boost you have to dash with. And dashing is integral to platforming because your double jump doesn't go very high at all. You also don't seem to move terribly fast when you aren't using the dash function. There seem to be a lot of nuances to the dash function I have yet to discover. For example, tapping the dash button multiple times seems to have quite a different outcome on the dash. And based on my first impression, this is the kind of game you play slowly and learn more and more about the mechanics and nuances until you understand so much about the game that, you know, your perception completely shifts, and you can't even recognize the way you used to play the game anymore. It's like you're a different person, and you understand the game on such a deep level now. Now, I don't know if that's what this game is offering you, but it feels like that based on my knowledge of previous games I've played. And the movement mechanics, which seem to have quite a bit of intricacy to them that I couldn't fully explore in the time I played it. Now, the reason I keep bringing up that I haven't played a lot is because, in spite of this game looking really beautiful, I think, and having some unique platforming mechanics and really nice music, it's probably not for me. And I don't mean that in any way as a bad thing. Like, this game is a much different thing than I imagined it to be. I imagined it to be a lot more arcadey, a lot less atmospheric, and I imagine it to control like a much more traditional first-person platformer, which it most certainly does not. But I think those are all good things. Like, I absolutely adore the art style, and if I could just look at all the rooms without running from lava, I would definitely do that for hours. And you know, maybe I normally wouldn't make a video on something that's not for me, but in this case I felt I had to because there's just such an effort here to create something visually striking and atmospheric and artistically coherent. This game is much prettier in person than you can prepare for by looking at the press kit and related screenshots and shit. And the thing is, I actually have the flashiness turned down quite a bit. The flashiness can be turned up immensely, and I think max flashiness is ideal, but the reason I have the flashiness turned down right now is because I think maybe some people would find that distracting to look at. So I'm gonna let you, you know, I mean, it's really intense how flashy the game is on max settings, is all I'm saying. And I think it's a beautiful audio-visual experience on max settings. Hell, it's beautiful on these settings, but I'm just saying, max settings, the lighting gets pretty crazy. Anyway, this game's aesthetic reminds me a lot of Tron Evolution. I love Tron Evolution. I think the game is gorgeous, and if I could just look at all the art, I would, but I can't because that's not how games work. And I figure, you know, maybe some of you would want to look at this, even if it's not for me. Because a lot of people like first-person shooters, and a lot of people like trippy visuals and great electronic music. So I can't give you any kind of definitive analysis on it or pretend I know super, like, what I'm talking about like I normally would. I can guess at what this game's going for, I can guess what nuances it has in story, and guess what the design is building up to. But that's all that is guesses, and I'm not that familiar with FPSs. And this game is already more artistic and surprising than I was expecting, judging on what I saw before. So, you know, maybe it's best just to go look for yourself, but I wanted to bring this to people's attention. I wasn't originally planning to make a video on it, but the art style and atmosphere surprised me so much that I kinda just had to anyway. Anyway, that was my brief time with Legacy of Music.